From political divisions to all-out war, how can adversaries sit down and work out their disagreements and come to a point where they actually see eye to eye? That's something our next guest has been advocating for and acting on for the past 4 decades. Meet humanitarian and founder of The Art of Living, Sri Ravi Shankar.
Founded in 1981, the nonprofit teaches meditation and organizes service projects globally. Today, there are Art of Living centers in 180 countries. Shankar is referred to as Gurudev or Sri, both honorific titles. We met at the Art of Living U.S. headquarters in Washington, D.C.
Gurudev, thank you so much for talking to us. I asked somebody earlier, as I was just sitting here visiting with some of the people here, to describe you. And they described you in 4 words: global icon of peace. And I think of how serene you are and how stressful that title is. Talk to me about how it feels to be described that way.
For me, it's my nature, what's in your nature, you share with everybody else. My nature has been bringing people together, creating peace. Inner peace, I feel, is the key for outer peace. If we're peaceful inside, we will create same vibrations around us.
Sri was born in southern India and apprenticed under Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the founder of Transcendental Meditation, who famously taught meditation to the Beatles. In 1982, Sri went into a 10-day silent meditation and came out of it with the breathing techniques that would become the basis for the course still taught today. Beyond educating people, he has also played a role in global peace negotiations. In Colombia, hundreds of thousands have died after 5 decades of fighting between the Colombian government and guerrilla groups. The largest being the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, better known as the FARC. In 2016, a peace accord aimed to end the conflict, representing a nonviolent path forward. Sri was part of the peace process.
We can have our political goals.
For his involvement, he was awarded the Simon Bolivar Order of Merit, the country's highest civilian honor.
Everybody is a victim. It's not that one is culprit. When you see someone as culprit, you demand them to be punished.
I looked at the 2016 event, and Juan Manuel Santos, the former president of Colombia, spoke glowingly of you, as did another member of parliament. Can you talk to us about that experience? Because the FARC rebels and the Colombian government were at each other's throats for so long. And
52 years.
And people saw it as intractable, that there could never be a breakthrough. But you didn't see it that way.
No. Yes, I was given the highest civilian award of Colombia for the work we had done with the refugees there, and healing and, bringing peace to people. And in the 3 days of discussions we meditated together. At the end of the 3rd day, they came with me to the press conference and announced, we are going to adopt the Gandhian principle of nonviolence. I told them, they are not having fun in the jungle. They are there for a cause. I understand that. Social justice is what their main issue was. I said, I stand for social justice. But the path of violence is not good. So I insisted that if they follow the path of non-violence, then every sane person on the planet would support them. And fortunately, they agreed on that.
But you mentioned 3 days, so that first day is a wall. I mean, you have to penetrate that wall. You have to chip away at that wall. Can you describe that whole process? Because getting to the 3rd day isn't easy, is it?
No, not so easy. It was an effort from both sides. They also didn't find it easy to accept the path of nonviolence. They said, We have lost so many people in our cadre. What do we answer for the families? That was their predicament. They were telling me all through that you should go and talk to the Colombian government to stop what they're doing, bombing our place and all that stuff. But then they realized, afterwards what they did, we flew in the victims to Havana and they asked forgiveness. That's a big step, I would say, that for them to realize that some wrong has happened to innocent families, they have to go and ask them forgiveness. Then this process started all over many places in Colombia. They went and they asked for forgiveness. And that's something, very moving movement.
Was there any point where you had any doubts?
No.
You just knew?
No, I knew.
They didn't know, but you knew.
I knew. Because I had this experience the last 40 years. I've been doing this work again and again, many places in India and other places in the world. So I know, I believe, basic humanity is all loving. So there is that goodness in every human being, and if we can recognize that and believe in it, change is imminent.
It's this message that has resonated with millions and drawn crowds wherever he goes. Many of his followers say that his teachings have been life-changing.
I was talking to a gentleman who's a doctor who came in touch with you in 1999, and he talked about how it changed him, not just as a person, but also as a physician. That he didn't just look at, this ailment and this is the pill. He also looked at the stress that perhaps touched that. Can you talk about, because I think most people would look at you and say, such a huge accomplishment in Colombia. And yet that's an accomplishment as well. And I can't think of how many doctors and how many other people you've affected in their careers where it's made an additional impact.
You see, breath is basic to life. And a little bit knowledge about breath, if it can relieve you from your tension, makes your mind, bring clarity to your mind and uplift your spirit, of course, it makes an impact in life. And we should say we were the pioneers 40 years back when we started about the breath work and meditation. And, it was, those days it was not considered the mainstream thing, as it's for people out there. Fortunately today, everyone is talking about yoga, meditation, relaxation, all these values.
The pandemic triggered a 25% increase in the prevalence of anxiety and depression worldwide, according to a 2022 report by the World Health Organization. Sri says breathing and meditation techniques can help with mental health issues.
Can you talk about COVID and how that impacted people from a mental health standpoint and your thoughts on what happened during the pandemic?
See, the pandemic has completely destabilized normal life with people around the globe. But post-pandemic, what I have noticed is our young people are into two extremes. Either they are so depressed and suicidal on one side, or they are so aggressive. The aggression and depression is rattling the society now. And here the mental health issue is the most important thing to be attended to. See, a strong mind can carry along a weak body, but not the other way around. A weak mind cannot carry along even a strong body. So mental health is an area we need to attend today in the world. Because every 40 seconds, if a person is committing suicide, that doesn't speak very good about our state of affairs. So here I have seen that just with the breathing techniques and a little bit of exercise and meditation, more mindfulness, the whole scenario changes. It helps people to be more centered, more strong, and get rid of stress. Also, yoga has been found to increase the immune system several folds. So your immune system becomes stronger, then you are able to withstand, any onslaught on the health. Both physical and mental health is an issue which can be addressed through breathing technique.
Everybody has one of these, if not more than one, in this area. And you're talking about mindfulness, meditation, yoga, which is going in this direction. This is taking us in an entirely different direction where we're obsessed with it and social media and constantly checking our emails and that sort of thing. How do we get rid of the one and embrace the other? And is that the war that's underway?
You don't need to get rid of one. You need to balance your life. That's all you need to do. Social media is essential today. You can't do away with it. But there's a limit. You can't destroy your own happiness, your own mind, and get so stressed just getting so immersed in social media. So, what I'm saying is we need to balance ourselves, balance our life, work-life balance, like this social media and finding your own health, wellness. That's very important.
Globally, Art of Living volunteers have engaged in a wide range of humanitarian projects, from wartime and disaster relief to in-prison rehabilitation and environmental restoration.
Your organization's been engaged in different projects, disaster relief, women's empowerment, just to name a couple. Can you talk about that work, the satisfaction that you get from it, and the type of difference it's making?
See, there is a joy that comes to us when you get things. You get a present, you get a compliment, you feel happy. That's a normal thing. But there is another joy, which is more mature, I would say, that comes to you when you contribute, when you give something to the society, when you give something to people. The joy of a grandmother, the joy of a grandfather. When you contribute, you find yourself in a much more happier state. So we need to move from this joy of getting and grabbing to the joy of giving to the society. That's it. That makes life much more fulfilling, gratifying.
So, can you describe for me how this work has kind of evolved over the years?
Well, it started in a small way in India, and then, we started a school for poor kids there who didn't have even a meal a day. So then, it expanded. We have 1,048 schools in India. Then, of course, when you do meditation, when you do breathing exercise and all this, you have so much energy and you want to give it back to society. So that's how the volunteer group developed all over. So like yesterday, they had many blood donation camps in India and other parts of the world. In Ukraine conflict, when there is war happening, many of our volunteers, they just jumped into serving people who really needed it. So we have done this in, when there is Lebanon, when there was a bomb blast in Lebanon, or even South America, everywhere. So service is part of the whole organization. It's a major part of the organization. Whether it's disaster relief or bringing relief to individuals or communities, our volunteers are engaged in it. And I have to say, we are so lucky to have such a good team of volunteers everywhere in the world. Without that, any of these big programs, you forget about it. You can't even dream of having it. It's the volunteering that the public has shown interest in.
Normally based in India, Sri was in Washington, D.C. to promote the World Culture Festival, a 3-day event organized by the Art of Living featuring live performances from around the world. The last World Culture Festival was held in 2016 in New Delhi. It was a massive affair. The stage alone accommodated 37,000 artists.
But here in Washington, D.C., for those who've lived here for a while, and I have, it's so broken. There's so much anger. Everybody's at each other. We've seen a lot of that in recent years here in the United States. Can one event change that?
This is more relevant. Now, in such a situation, to clear the air and bring people together in a sense of celebration, I think is very important. And whomsoever has spoken today on all sides, 2, 3, 4 sides of the issues, they've all agreed that we all have to come together.
I might have one view of what life is, and then I may go to the festival and leave the festival and have a different view of life. My question is, it's so easy to get caught up in the rat race of life. You go to an event like this and you see diversity and you see people coming together and you kind of see life through a different prism in a sense. Is that the goal? To maybe take people, hey, hit the pause button for a minute, look at life differently?
Yes. The festivals are there to bring your spirit up. See, you go to soccer game and people from all ideology and belief system, they go for soccer game, right? And when they are there, everybody is cheering up, correct? So it uplifts the human spirit. So all celebrations are meant to uplift the human spirit and give a respite from the rat racing, stressful life set. So I would say that this World Culture Festival is a rare occasion for people to see all the cultures of the world in one place with one message of, hey, come on, wake up. We are one human family on the planet Earth. We need to care for humanity. We need to see a violence-free society. We need to care for environment. We need to care for our planet. These are the core values that one can take with them and see that it's possible, it's possible.
There's some who'd say it's not possible, though. I'm sure you've heard that. I mean, you talked about your episode with the FARC.
There are many who are cynical, some are, think it's all just a utopian dream, it's not possible. This sort of course, I got many times. Even when we thought about having all the musicians on one stage. In Berlin, for example, we said we want to have 30 pianos. And you talk to any pianist, they say, no, it's not possible. We all have our own style. But then, it happened. We had 1,000 bagpipers. They all could play. We had 1,000 sitarists come on the stage. See, what appears to be impossible, when you put your attention and intention, it starts becoming possible. And that has become my passion almost now. See, if something is impossible, go for it.
Well, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's been a great conversation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.